IMF head Christine Lagarde, who is on a visit to Africa, has praised the federal government's efforts to transform the nation's economy. Mr. Lagarde held talks with President Goodluck Jonathan after meeting Finance Minister Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala earlier today, however, advised the government to take further steps in protecting Nigeria from the adverse effects of the global economic crisis. President Jonathan responded by reiterating his administration's commitment to engineering a positive transformation of the Nigerian economy and assured that the economic team will receive all the political support required to ensure that this objective is attained. President Jonathan said, quote, "We are totally committed to changing things in Nigeria. Our vision is that by the year 2020, Nigeria will have become a much bigger player in the global economy. We have established a good team and we will give them the full political backing they need to succeed." In a separate meeting with Senate President David Mark, Mr. Lagarde asked Nigeria to learn a lesson from the economic crisis in advanced countries, particularly in Europe. Mr. Lagarde said the economic turmoil in Europe is a source of concern to the IMF in many countries. She advised Nigeria to make sure it has enough in reserves and resistance to weather the storm, as it did in 2008 and in 2009.
Members of Nigeria's economic management team and President Goodluck Jonathan have held separate meetings with the Managing Director of International Monetary Fund, Mrs. Christine Lagarde, who is on a 2-day working visit to the country. This visit is coming at a time when the government is planning to introduce reforms, including the controversial withdrawal of oil subsidy, which could lead to an increase in pump price of petrol. Although the IMF chief declined commenting on the issue of fuel subsidy, Mrs. Lagarde commended the economic programs of President Goodluck Jonathan.
As managing director of the IMF, I was extremely impressed with the work that he is leading and with the energy and pace at which he wants to transform the economy, create jobs, focus on agriculture, and that is extremely impressive. So the IMF is a partner, has been a partner of Nigeria for many years. We have also transformed our institutions, and we are here to listen, understand, support if it's needed. We provide technical assistance concerning the bank restructuring initiative, concerning some of those measures, but we are very, very impressed with the realization.
The IMF chief also met with leaders of a National Assembly. Channels Television learned that the budget proposal by the president for next year was not discussed at the meetings with federal lawmakers, but the leadership of the parliament wants the IMF to do more for developing countries like Nigeria.
So if there is a way that through your own organization you can at least try and balance the world trade a bit. So let's have some level of accessibility to the advanced democracies and advanced economies market, because it will be very useful.
Within the context of voice and representation aspect of the reform, 2 chairs on the board of the governors have been relinquished by developed Europe in favor of increased representation by developing countries on the board. We wish to formally, at least on behalf of the legislature, request the MD to consider Nigeria for one of the 2 chairs based on our cordial relationship with the IMF.
Mrs. Lagarde is expected to meet with members of the civil society groups in Lagos on Tuesday to discuss Africa's future before moving on to neighboring Niger Republic as part of a tour of African countries which will focus on youth unemployment on the continent. Linda Kigwe, Channels Television News.